Hello, I'm Neely Jones, your host of Focus on Suppliers. This week, we're talking about health and beauty. We're going to have Sam's Club's Tracey Brown join us and talk about Dress for Success Northwest Arkansas to explain the importance of mentoring and how wardrobe and interview training help forward a professional career. Plus, Darcy Meier from Vi-Jon reveals what it's really like to work with Amazon, and because of the recent changes to labor laws, we're starting off with expert advice from Estill to help your business. Focus on Suppliers starts right now.
Focus on Suppliers is presented by 8th & Walton, the premier destination for supplier development, and sponsored in part by Dun & Bradstreet, Saatchi & Saatchi X, Case Stack, Excel Displays and Packaging, and other outstanding companies.
Your millennial fun fact is that 43% of millennials are actually using over-the-counter drugs to cure their ails. They're also the #1 user of going to an in-store clinic. What that tells us about millennials is they are really in a do-it-yourself modality as they think about health and wellness and curing minor medical treatment. They'll also go and talk to a clinic or go into an in-store walk-in clinic if they need to. But their #1 resource for learning about what products and services are going to help them get past an illness is word of mouth. We really need to make sure that we're using out-of-store content, social content, ratings, and reviews to drive them in-store so that they can look at their options. Also, connecting with them emotionally about things related to health and wellness is going to be critical to driving them to purchase. And we'll see you next week for the next Millennial Minutes.
We know that sometimes you have legal questions, and for that reason, you'll notice us bring some experts on. That brings me to our next guest. Please join me in welcoming Steve Broussard, who comes to us from Estill. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me here today.
One of the things we want to talk about with you is the Department of Labor and the changes that we see when it comes to minimum wage and overtime. What do our suppliers need to know?
I think suppliers need to know there's been a big change that was announced back in May, and it has to do with overtime. There are certain exemptions that under the Fair Labor Standards Act which allow for employers to pay individuals without having to worry about overtime. Well, in May of this year, the Department of Labor made an announcement, and with regard to certain individuals, the requirements have changed. So you have to actually pay them more in order to make sure that they're not entitled to overtime. And specifically, there's kind of a doubling of that amount of money. It's now up to $47,000 around there from $23,000. So it's a significant change that's going to go into effect as of December 1 this year.
So it's something that you need to remember in doing your budgets and you need to stay on top of with your employees.
Absolutely, absolutely, because you want to make sure you classify them appropriately. You may have to increase their wages, or you may have to take them off of salary and make them an hourly employee in order to comply with these regulations. And because if you don't, you can end up subjecting yourself to liability from the federal government, the Department of Labor, and also from individuals. So it's really important to budget and understand what your employees are doing and try to make sure you classify them correctly and pay them correctly.
And let's talk about the size of companies this will affect.
Absolutely. It's going to affect probably most companies in one way or another. Under the Fair Labor Standards Act, there is a requirement that you have to do at least $500,000 of business in order for the entire business to be covered by the Act. However, there's also what's called an individual coverage test. So if an individual employee is engaged in what is called interstate commerce, then that particular individual is also covered by the Fair Labor Standards Act. So what you have to do is look at what that individual does, examine the job duties. Are they on the telephone making long-distance calls? Are they traveling across state lines? All of those activities are considered to be interstate commerce. And so those particular individuals may be covered by the Act. So you got to be careful and see what they're doing.
If you haven't taken a look at this yet, what are some first steps so that you are prepared? Because that date's creeping up on us.
It's creeping up. I would recommend that you go to the Department of Labor website and check out the FAQs and also the information about the law to get yourself ready for that. And then, of course, Beyond that, you may need to get with a lawyer or an accountant to kind of figure out how you're going to plan and you're going to implement changes with regard to what you need to do in order to comply with the law. Because it is significant, and it may, in fact, affect more than 4.2 million people in the United States. So it's very important for you to take a look at those issues.
Thank you so much. This is vital information for our suppliers. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Be sure to like 8th and Walton on Facebook.
K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
Beauterre Office Park is conveniently located off I-49 and near Walmart's facilities. Our beautiful campus is Northwest Arkansas's largest office park. Let us build to suit your needs. Rates start at $14.50 per square foot. Visit Beauterre.com today.
What time is it? Time to walk to defeat ALS. Join us Saturday, August 27th at the Compton Gardens. Register your team at als-arkansas.org or call 479-621-8700.
You just had your buyer meeting. Now there's follow-up to do. Maybe your buyer wants more on seasonal sales, or invited you to prepare a joint business plan or set up a date for your line review. 8th and Walton can help. Our experts work with you one-on-one in a confidential setting to prepare for your next buyer meeting. The classes we offer help you too. Retail Link, Supply Chain Management, Inventory Management, taught in cities across the country, in Canada, and in Latin America. So before your next buyer meeting, contact 8th and Walton. Then relax, knowing that you will be ready.
We are definitely starting to see how health and wellness can really drive innovation when we talk about the future. And that brings me to Alex Hurd, because you've really been at the forefront of this. Alex with Walmart, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Neely, for having us back.
You guys have had the America's biggest health fair and seen a lot of success with this.
Absolutely. Now, if you think back to last October when we did this event and we had nurses come into all our stores to offer free screenings to our customers, we did over 300,000 screenings. And our pharmacists delivered over 50,000 immunizations, and we distributed over 2 million healthy product samples. It was awesome. And what gets me most excited was if you look at the folks that got an immunization that day, almost 1 in 3 had not been to a pharmacy in the United States in the previous year. So it goes to show that this is a great solution to help customers that are not engaging with their health, either because they don't know how, they don't have time, they don't have the funds, and that's what makes this so powerful.
Is the availability, and you've really seen some success stories.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just to share one from the field, we had a customer in Georgia who had a blood pressure reading that was super elevated. Mm-hmm. And so they were able to get her to the emergency room that same day, and her family shared feedback with our pharmacy saying that if it had not been for that screening, she might not have survived the weekend. That's awesome. And to be able to have that type of impact is pretty unique and pretty cool.
It's pretty special indeed. Now, we're talking about this, and I know there's suppliers out there watching going, okay, how do I get on board? How do I get involved? What can they do to get involved with this and help you forward your efforts?
Absolutely. And so we've been fortunate. We've had some phenomenal support from groups like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble or Becton & Dickinson, who have been really at our side from the beginning, kind of developing this from day one. And we're always looking for more help. It's very costly to cover the cost of nurses, and so we're always looking for more help to make this happen and to move to a more regular cadence. But, what's even more exciting is that, there's an opportunity to work with us to reimagine how we deliver preventative care in our country, right? And so the screenings are great, but it's just a starting point. So how do we then move from creating programs, right, and solutions that encompass what we have, all the great products and services we have in our stores, to really help folks make incremental changes that will lead to better health. That's what I think is cool, and that's where we're always looking for innovative, kind of open-minded partners to help us make it happen.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Joining us now, Kerry Bailey from Menasha, and you're going to talk with us a little bit today about some of the changes that we're seeing in health and wellness.
There's an awful lot going on in health and wellness. You've got a retail revolution that's occurring on behalf of the anywhere, everywhere shopper, but you also have that same type of attitude in healthcare. And retailers are racing to provide additional solutions to consumers, and it's creating a lot of dynamics in store that are very unique.
You said there's three main categories really that you can think of that we particularly need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think if the retailers, when they look at the scope of healthcare and what they're delivering to the shopper, is how can technology play a role in beyond patient record management? How can it deliver content and information and improve quality of healthcare for the shopper? When you look at supply chain optimization, how can customization occur for shoppers that it's unique to them? And you see that also in RX to OTC conversions. We have a lot of drugs that are moving from behind the counter to over the counter. And as they do, the dynamics that are involved there and contract packaging and the quality there certainly is a major concern. And the third is really getting around the emerging categories. Things like caregiver, as we're seeing the balloon and boomer exposure to taking care of folks in home, that caregiver category, and even nutraceuticals as it plays into more homeopathic type self-advocacy medicines, all of that. Those are the three keys, I think, for retailers today.
Kind of give me an example, if you will, of an emerging category. You touched on it a little bit, but you said particularly you're seeing some changes at places like Sam's Club.
Absolutely, and Sam's Club is doing so much in the way of showing folks who are entering a new phase in their lives with regard to healthcare, the kinds of things that can be available to them at retail. And this caregiver category is something that's just kind of exploding. As we see the boomer generation moving in the gray wave process, more folks are taking a role in their parents' healthcare and those around them. And there's so much more product available to them that as a retailer, Sam's is able to step out there and be very forward-thinking in how they present that to the shopper.
When we talk about changing from RX to over-the-counter, I mean, you kind of brush through that, but there's a lot that goes into that.
I tell you, over the last couple of years, we've had so many drugs move from behind the window to the shopper. You take Nexium or Rhinocort. You've seen a lot of it in the gastrointestinal area and the allergens. And in that space, there's so much education that needs to occur. So a lot of the information that's being shared with the shopper needs to be in very dynamic form, and that's speaking to that content piece too, which I think technology plays a huge role in how we deliver a lot of that information to the shopper.
Technology and, fair to say, packaging itself.
Absolutely. You know, you can't trust, the FDA is not going to trust everyone to just handle those type of items. So certification of labs, manufacturing processes, as well as zero defect type packaging is critical in delivering a good product there.
And then your display, how important are your displays?
Well, I think that's where content is coming to life for the shopper. So much more information is needed in that display process. And so as we're presenting that information, we're really keying in on that content piece to the shopper. In diabetics type situations, let's say, the shopper needs to know those top frequently asked questions. How can they get the quickest information on the key elements that are relevant to their disease state?
How can they find it? How can they see it? And how can they make sure it's addressing their needs quickly and easily? Because efficiency, either online or in the store, that's what it's about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Neely.
Always good to see you. We'll be right back. You can see all episodes and extended interviews at Vimeo.
Today we're visiting with 8th and Walton's Joel Graham. Joel has over 28 years of experience in working with Sam's Club, and we're going to be visiting with Joel about item files. Joel, welcome.
Thank you very much.
For those watching that may not understand, what do we mean by item file?
Well, it's an interesting term. It basically just means the file of the item. So an item would be the product in the store, and the file would be the database that sets up that item attribute, such as cube, weight, and all those factors. And then they would use the UPC as the common reference point for that data.
Okay, so the item file is like an SKU.
it is like an SKU, a stock keeping unit.
Okay, very good. How does the item file need to be maintained?
Well, the item file can be maintained through Retail Inc. It can be maintained through DataSync, which is relatively new in the world of global data synchronization. And it's important that the item is maintained because that's what represents the product in the store. And if some of the attributes aren't set up right, that can be adversely affecting the item.
Okay, so to go a little deeper, for suppliers, the accuracy of the item file, why is that so essential?
Very, very essential. And DataSync is one of the programs where the data is fed automatically through the system. That improves the accuracy of that data. But in reference to the accuracy, if cube and weight and things like that, pricing, if those are not accurate descriptors, then that can be confusing for the customer and it can be costly for logistics.
Okay, so here at 8th and Walton, how can we help suppliers with their item files?
Well, 8th and Walton offers a variety of classroom environments, suites if you will, one of those being classroom environments for the item link system, the item file system, and many others. And then we also offer advisory work with our experts here at 8th and Walton.
Okay, great. Joel Graham, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Joining us now, Darcy Meier from Vi-Jon. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having
You
me.
guys have private label. And when we talk about trust in consumers, how do you go about winning that trust?
Yeah, definitely. No, quality is at the forefront of what we do. So we have, we make all our products here in the United States in both Missouri and Tennessee. And in both those places we have research and development labs, and we do all of our testing in-house as well. So we ensure that we have the best quality product to present to our retailers that ultimately end on the customer's shelf. Because we want to ensure that our brand, whether it's under Equate or Parent's Choice, that the customer trusts that brand just as much as they do a national brand, and they continue to buy that product and they get the same quality of product that they would in the national brand at a less expensive price.
So trust is what keeps them coming back.
Definitely.
You have a unique perspective because you were a buyer at Walmart. You led the consumables health and wellness team at Amazon, which brings me to my next question. What's different about working with those two entities?
I think at the forefront, the basics are the same. You want to offer the customer a quality product at the best price for the retailer that ultimately passes on to the consumer. But I think what's important in our marketplace is we're trying to find and figure out the omni-channel and this convergence of online and brick and mortar, understanding what that difference is. And then I think at Amazon, What's important is that it's completely different than Walmart. There are no line reviews, there are no modulars, there are no mod fills. So when you put a product on Amazon, one of the big questions were, where are our orders? Well, they could order one.
Right.
Literally one unit. And that's all they need to carry to reflect to the customer that they're in stock.
Well, and you may not talk to anyone, correct?
Correct.
There may not actually be a phone conversation.
Exactly. And in fact, the culture at Amazon is very email and electronic. So it's very common. I think my phone didn't even work half the time that I worked there. So I think it's very common that you will never talk to someone over a phone, nor will you ever meet with them in person. And you can still have an extremely successful business at Amazon without having that same kind of process that you're used to at a Walmart or a similar retailer.
Explain the importance of having a person dedicated to just Amazon.
Definitely. Amazon's very complex and they have a very high standards for their suppliers, and they require a lot of different things that, as a supplier, you're frankly just probably not used to. And so you need to have at least one person dedicated to that account because they need to understand the portal that Amazon uses and get into the details of that portal because it explains everything to them. But if someone doesn't have the time to dedicate to that, you're just kind of gonna trug along and play around with Amazon versus really dedicating to that channel and that business.
Okay, any more advice that you would give our suppliers when it comes to dealing with a variety of retailers and a variety of space?
Definitely. I think it's important to understand the desire of each retailer. So Amazon really wants to have a broad selection, but they're looking at things very differently from a profit perspective, from having to actually ship the item to the customer, kind of the things I mentioned earlier that are just different. And then, Walmart, there's a huge focus at Walmart on private label. Walmart has a very certain strict timeline as far as when modulars hit. It's important that you're hitting those modulars and that you're coming to them with the line reviews with the most accurate information as possible. And then in turn, finding out a month or two later if those items were awarded to you. So I would say they're completely different businesses, and it's being able to adapt to those and having the right people in those businesses so they can adapt to what the retailer wants.
This is such good information for our suppliers. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Joining us now is Arist Mastorides. Thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here.
You're with Kimberly Clark and obviously an active participant here for the new event. How important are events like this for the area and overall?
Well, I think the new event this morning and the LPGA event this week is incredible for our community. So if you look at what the LPGA, what Octagon, what Walmart has been able to do for the community this week, it's terrific. And the network of executive women this morning is even better. I think if you talk about the things that it does to teach women, to teach men, and just have a influence in our community, it's awesome.
It's definitely something to take advantage of. One of the topics today is legacy.
Yeah.
What would you say about the importance of having a personal legacy as well as keeping that in mind with your company's legacy?
Yeah, so I think it all starts with us as people. And so if you understand what your purpose is and what your legacy is, it makes it very easy to transform that to the business world. And so for me personally, it's all around how do I help people think about their personal and professional dreams, and how do we help our associates do that in calling on Walmart and making a difference in our community.
And maybe helping them start to think about that plan as they move forward into their career.
Yeah, I think so. We spend a lot of time mentoring at Kimberly Clark, and so it's one of the things, if you can understand what people stand for and what's important to them, you can really help them understand what their career can look like and how you can achieve those dreams.
One of the things that I love is that we're obviously here for the network of executive women, but we're seeing more and more men involved.
Yeah.
As you see young people move forward in their career, male or female, what advice would you offer to them?
So I think just get involved. I've been involved in the network of executive women for over 20 years, and I've learned a ton. So do something that you're passionate about, do something where you'll get a different experience, and really come to these events with an open mind to learn and understand different perspectives. And I think you'll get a ton out of that.
We thank you so much, and Kimberly Clark, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Visit us at 8thandwalton.com to learn how you can become a better partner with Walmart.
Bentonville Plaza, across the street from the Walmart home office. The best office location offers proximity and services like no other business complex in the area. Call 479-200-1112 today.
America's biggest health fair is Saturday, October 15th. Suppliers, find out how you can partner with Walmart to transform preventative health care. For more information, email iracema.roldan@walmart.com.
K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
Bentonville Commerce, less than 1 mile from the Walmart home office. You'll love the convenience, amenities, and customized options Bentonville Commerce offers. For more information or a tour, call 479-200-1112 today.
You just had your buyer meeting. Now there's follow-up to do. Maybe your buyer wants more on seasonal sales, or invited you to prepare a joint business plan or set up a date for your line review. 8th & Walton can help. Our experts work with you one-on-one in a confidential setting to prepare for your next buyer meeting. The classes we offer help you too. Retail Link, Supply Chain Management, Inventory Management, taught in cities across the country, in Canada, and in Latin America. So before your next buyer meeting, contact 8th & Walton. Then relax, knowing that you will be ready.
In this week's Heart of Business, I'm so excited to talk with you about a very special organization, Dress for Success of Northwest Arkansas. So please join me in welcoming Tracey Brown, who's here from Sam's Club. Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here.
We also want to welcome today Virginia Germann from Dress for Success Northwest Arkansas.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
For folks who don't know, tell them a little bit about this program and what all you do, because it encompasses a lot of things.
Sure. So Dress for Success helps empower women towards economic independence. And we do that by providing a network of support and professional attire, so for either an interview outfit or employment suiting, as well as workshops. Workshops like managing conflict in the workplace, the art of listening through improv skills, public speaking, and mindful conversations. So really fun programs that will help her not only thrive and retain her job, but thrive in life.
So life skills, is that a fair
Life
way
skills,
to put it?
yes.
How did you become involved with this organization, and why is it so important to you?
Well, I have been mentoring women in business for quite a long time, dating all the way back to my mother, who told me at a very, very young age I would be able to do anything, and I've carried that forward. I have been in Northwest Arkansas for about 18 months, and the very first event that I attended was a Dress for Success event. And upon learning what the mission and the vision of the organization is, it seemed like a very natural fit for me to get involved.
Exactly, and we know that this is good for these young women, but how does it also benefit our suppliers and retailers?
Obviously, one of the things that is critically important is that we need to continue to have a workforce that is extremely diverse. If you just look at economic equality, where women are in the workplace, you will see that across the country, there's still always work to do. Women represent more than 50% of the population, and so therefore, we should represent that in the workplace at the highest levels as well. And so I think being involved with organizations like Dress for Success of Northwest Arkansas, this gives us an opportunity to not only give back to the community, but actually mentor and work with young women to bring them in the workforce and set them up for success from the first start.
And it's not only young women. I want to just tell a quick success story of a woman that was coming back into the workplace after being at home with her children. She's a veteran, and she was underemployed in a job and wanted to do better. So she sought out help and got referred to us. We helped her with her suiting and her interview, mock interview, as well as her resume. And we coached her a little bit, and she has now been at Walmart for about 4 months, and she's thriving. She found herself having to care for her son and daughter and young baby, all on her own. So they are now really thriving just in 4 months, and she's looking at going back to school. So,
fantastic.
So it's just not, the people just coming into the workplace. So
if a supplier's watching, they want to get involved, and they're thinking, oh gosh, I just don't have a lot of time to volunteer. What are options?
Okay, so the easiest way to volunteer and become involved is to clean out your closet and select, gently used professional attire, shoes, purses, accessories. We will take all of that. But you can become more involved during the day and become involved as an image consultant, so actually engage with our clients and suit them with professional attire. We also have opportunities with mock interviewing, and we're beginning to do that on Skype. So you could do it from your office. You don't have to necessarily be in the boutique and help our clients. We also have resume review, and we do all of that via the internet. Also, there's team building. So if a group wants to come in and help out in the boutique on after hours or on a Saturday or during the workday, if they're doing a team building event, then they can come in and work in the boutique.
And let me ask you, what special activities do you have coming up as well that people can get involved with?
Oh, we have, and I know Tracey wants to tell about it too because she is our honorary co-chair. We have the Little Black Dress dinner party.
Yes. Dinner party and silent auction, actually it's October 6th, but what a wonderful way to not only celebrate the women that we help, but all of those who participate in Dress for Success in Northwest Arkansas. This unique event brings the community together in a very special way, and that is around culinary and our love of food, where we are engaging the top chefs in the area, around 20 chefs, that will prepare a special 4-course meal for each of us. So I'm really excited about this. This is, I love food, and so this is right up my alley.
Plus, it's so unique. What a great opportunity. Well, thank you both so much for taking the time to stop by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Our guests enjoy staying at the 21C Museum Hotel and hosting dinner, meetings, and product launches there.
That does it for this week's show. Here are 3 key takeaways you might want to jot down. First, Understand what's important to the different retailers that you're working with so you can meet their needs and yours. Number 2, know that working with Amazon is very different than working with other retailers, and be sure you have one person to dedicate specifically to Amazon. And 3, use your packaging to reflect the changes in your product. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here next week.